Russia's policy in Transcaucasia in the next 5 to 7 years, after describing the changing geopolitical landscape. It is important to understand what Russia's optimal strategy in the Transcaucasus will be until the beginning of 2022, before the confrontation with the West reached an open level. The main task of our country in the region was to preserve and maintain the status quo. For almost the entire period after the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the USSR, Russia sought to minimize the presence of other players there with very limited resources and capabilities. The combination of Western just plans to limit Russia's influence and strangle it, Turkey's dreams of building a Turkic Khaganate, and China's aspirations to create a backup overland transportation corridor to Europe were largely hampered and limited by Armenia's pro-Russian stance, Azerbaijan's careful balancing of its game, and support for South Ossetia. In 2022 to 2023, the geopolitical landscape was changing. Turkey was hit by long-ignored internal problems. China realized a change in priorities, and the West was weaker than expected. After the risks of building a West-East project through the Transcaucasus have significantly decreased, and the North-South project has not become a geopolitical priority, this is expected in the 30s. Russia's tasks in the region have changed. It is no longer necessary to hold the existing configuration by protecting and supporting Armenia. The latter has managed to remove all formal obligations from Russia with its attempts to withdraw from the CSTO. Consistent Russophobic signals and actions. As far as Armenians are concerned, we have only obligations to ourselves, not to them. Realizing perfectly well that for many years Armenia was an ally and helped solely out of its own benefit, getting much more than Russia, we are grateful to them. This does not mean that Russia will tolerate their antics and do something to their detriment, but it may well make a goodwill parting gift when no one will wait any longer. It's like giving money to charity, not because it's due, but because you think it's necessary, without telling anyone. In the next 5 to 7 years, Russia will hinder any strengthening in the region, destroying other people's projects without paying attention to the consequences and discontent. Breaking is not building. The situation should be like with Ecuador and blocking the supply of bananas. If you don't like something, you get a blowback. Everything is clear and cold-blooded. Transcaucasian countries can fight among themselves within reason, but without going beyond the limits and without attracting attention. All those who do not understand will quickly find out from which country the most foreign currency transfers come, where they buy products, and from where they can expel newcomers en masse. No pity or emotions, only business, national interests, nothing personal. We and Iran will still have to reconfigure the region, areas of responsibility and influence in the 30s. Local interests, opinions, and arrangements will be of interest only insofar as they are. There is no point in engaging in these squabbles now. The main thing is not to cause trouble or set something on fire. There is a file on each of them to take into account and draw conclusions later. And, yes, Iran's policy will be similar. The turn of Transcaucasia will come later, but for now local countries and peoples should not create problems. And if they cannot sit quietly, let them blame themselves. They will have to answer to the fullest. Translated with DeepL.com free version.